Hi everybody, how you doing today? Clint, the audio guy here for you with another review. Today I'm going to talk about the Totem Acoustic Staff speaker. This is one I call the secret weapon of the Totem line. This is, in my opinion, where price and performance meet, and you get a lot of bang for your buck here. So, just so you know, I'm a sales manager at an audio store in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. So I do this for a living. I do sell these, as my little disclaimer. I'm not trying to sell them to you now or anything. I'm just going to tell you what I think about them. Okay, so the Totem Staff is a nice slim little tower. A little bit bigger than the arrows, as you can see behind me here, but still a nice small compact speaker. Very pleasing, especially to wives. I get a lot of wives saying, you know, their biggest fear is, oh no, he's going to put some huge speakers in the house. They're perfectly fine with this, so this is a great one to look at, and these will be great for you too. She doesn't even know you're going to get great audio performance as well. So you can compromise and not have big problems that way. Anyway, we've got two drivers, small two-way design. We've got a 5.5-inch woofer, 1-inch textile dome tweeter. It's got a nice smooth treble response, not harsh at all. Really good bass extension. You wouldn't think so from a 5.5-inch woofer, but these things have some impact to them. The only limitation in a small two-way design, of course, is you cannot crank these things. You know, if you want it to sound like a rock concert in your family room, you want to go with a different speaker. But at any reasonable listening levels, this is a great speaker. It's going to be full, rich bottom end. Bass extension down into the 30s. They say the -3 dB point is about 39 hertz or a little less, but you'll get bass extension right down to 30, 32 hertz. So it's pretty impressive for a very small speaker. It's very impressive. What I have here is their mahogany finish. You can see it kind of has that striped look to it, reddish look. This is a standard finish for them. So this and black ash are the least expensive finishes available. So it's a very nice standard finish. If we turn it around, we have bi-wire posts or bi-ampable. You can take these bridges out. You can amp the tweeter and the woofer separately if you like. It's certainly not needed on a speaker like this, but there should be some improvement with bi-wiring as well. Totem does have bi-wire cables available, so you can run a separate run of wire from your amp to your tweeter and to your woofer. It's a really good connection. It's a ported design or bass reflex design, so there's a port here. There's another little hole in the bottom. That's not an extra port, that's actually a mass loading chamber, and it's sealed off from the main compartment, so your mass loading isn't going to get up behind the drivers or anything. Totem recommends anywhere between 5 and 10 pounds of mass loading. They do sound really good without it, so you don't need mass loading, but if you wanted to make the speaker even more stable, put some weight in the bottom, it'll get really stable between 5 to 10 pounds of mass loading. I say go towards the less side and maybe add more, because it will change the sound of the speaker. It will dampen and tighten up the bass some. Okay. But this speaker is one I play for people. I've actually got a customer, he comes in all the time, sits down and listens to these. He just can't quite get up the money to put them in his own home, but he keeps coming in, just loves these speakers. I had another customer tell me he just bought a $10,000 pair of Martin Logans. He came in here, listened to these. I had him hooked up at the time to a nice pair of monoblock amps, but came in and listened to these and said he was kind of depressed now because those sound better than his $10,000 electrostatic speakers he just bought. Now they are They are very nice. They extend deep. Treble is there. They soundstage really well. The good benefit of a two-way design is just the purity of sound. You don't have the complexity in the crossover where you have to split the sound in two different spots and try to blend those drivers together. It's just one spot, so it's very good purity of sound. One other thing Totem does, as I've said before, they don't use any polyfill or foam inside. They use, inside the cabinet, they use borosilicate paint that was developed by NASA. It's a real heavy paint designed to eliminate resonances in the surface, and it works very well, but it also speeds up airflow inside the cabinet, so it's very fast, very clean bass. There's nothing slowing it down or muddying it up. Also, there's no foam to degrade over time and fall apart, and then your sound changes as you own the speaker. Speaking of sound changing, though, your sound will change in the first, say about 80 to 100 hours of owning the speaker and playing it, just as the suspensions loosen up on the drivers and the capacitors break in, the crossover and all that. So there's a break-in period. You want to refrain from playing them super loud during that time, because you can do damage to the woofer. As far as power requirements go, you want an amp with a minimum of 20 watts, like if you're like 20 good clean watts. They suggest 20 to 80 watts. If it's a tube amp and it's just got really good clean power, you can go down to about 20 watts. But don't hesitate to put these with an amp with a lot more power. I mean, in our store we have them hooked up to an amp that's putting out 250 watts a channel, Parasound A21. And they're just going to even sound cleaner. Just very controlled. The bass is going to be real tight and everything. You're obviously not going to be playing 250 watts through these speakers, but you're going to, that extra power will give you extra headroom, so the wattage that you are using is going to be super clean. With any of the Totem speakers, I do recommend separate components or a good quality integrated amp. But this is the one speaker, I would say, that doesn't need it. This is the most receiver-friendly speaker in their line, as I say. It's an 8-ohm speaker. It's also got one of the highest sensitivities of any of the Totems. It's 88 dB sensitivity. So you can play it off of a good, strong receiver. You don't want to put this with like a $300 Harman Kardon or anything. But you know, if you have a good receiver with some good quality current behind it, that should work fine for you as well. But yeah, check them out. It's a nice little speaker. As I call it, the secret weapon. It'll kill a lot of bigger designs. So thanks for watching, and join me next time for more audio reviews. We'll see you then.